Hi guys, welcome back to another podcast with me, Marie.
And me, Tina.
From Cosmic Conversation. You should know by now if you've been listening. But if you're new to our podcast, very, very warm greetings to you all. And today we have gone to another location, as we always do. And we're at our friend Ingrid's house. And would you like to introduce Ingrid? That you know Ingrid better than me.
Yes, Ingrid, we have known each other for quite a few years. Yeah. We have done some charity work together. You've helped me with my dog's charity. Yeah. You are a vegan and a yoga instructor.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, welcome Ingrid to Cosmic Conversation and your dog.
So that's not me making that noise.
So you've been interested in a course and took it, the Freedom from Self-Sabotage. Now, I don't know a lot about that at all. And I know that it is very, very close-knitted to the conversations that we've been having.
Yeah.
So if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself and why you took the course and what it is.
Okay. Hi guys, I'm Ingrid. I live in Allegady, I live between Allegady and Essentepe. I'm a former chemistry and biology teacher. Things changed a few years ago and I found myself out of a job through my belief system. And I carried on teaching yoga, and I started researching lots and lots of things about the truth and how we've been tricked by nearly everybody around us who we look up to, and people who, assume that they've got our best interests at heart, often haven't. So this led me down the lines of finding out about this course, Freedom from Self-Sabotage. And it's run by a brilliant truther from Canada called Jason Christoff, who again had his own business shut down during these silly times, shall we call them, trying to keep a fitness and gym open. So he started, like a lot of people are doing now, trying to think of a different way of earning a living, being your own boss, being independent and not having to rely on anyone else for your own well-being, welfare and everything else. So the course lasted just short of a year.
Was that something that you found out like from social media, or was it from online or from a group or a friend?
I'd listened to Jason Christoff's podcasts every week, and then I started subscribing, and I got emails from him with news about what's going on in Canada and the US and everywhere else. And the podcasts were really interesting, and then he started talking about self-sabotage and how we all take part in this.
What's the podcast called?
Jason Christoff Podcast.
Is that it? I thought it had some fancy name.
No. And it led me to looking, about this, see what he was talking about. So I went online and I thought, this sounds really interesting. It just sounds like right up my street, because I got to find out about kind of like your inner self. It makes you do like the deeper work. You've got to do your own shadow work before you can actually be a good coach for anyone else.
What's shadow work?
Shadow work, you've got to really look deep inside at your own faults. Because I do believe that within us we've got light and darkness. So we've got good things going on and bad things too. And I kind of believe that also one of the things that's wrong with the world at the moment is that people refuse to see the darkness. They think, no, that couldn't happen. People wouldn't do that. That doesn't exist. No, I don't think so. But we're actually like that ourselves. So deep within ourselves, we have good parts and bad parts. So sometimes you've got to find out where your bad parts are coming from and what caused it. So it led me to looking at myself in greater detail. And initially when I started the course, you have to complete a questionnaire. And it's the questionnaire that you would send to a potential client, but you have to do it yourself to see what it's like for a client to fill it in. When I opened it up, and there was reams and reams of pages just asking you everything, and I just thought, oh my God, I don't think I can fill this in.
What kind of questions?
Well, not just about things like your daily diet, your daily habit, what time you go to bed, what time do you actually go to sleep, what drugs do you take, you know, have you had any addictions, what are your relationships like,
It's really intense, isn't it?
what were your parents like, what were your grandparents like, but not just what were they like, you know, tell us what they ate, tell us what they said to you that made you upset. You know, so it really was digging deep into your psyche, and sometimes it threw up like memories that you'd rather just close the book on.
And when those memories came up that you want to close the book on, how's that dealt with?
Well, first of all, by acknowledging that those thoughts and emotions are still there, and when they're brought to the surface, you actually need to put them back to bed and dismiss them and get them over with. So one of the things we do, moving on as a client, and I had to do it as a practice coach, you do a banishment ceremony to get rid of all those old thoughts, those old behaviours, those old rituals and belief systems. So you would actually, for a practice client, you would write down all the things that they believed in that are actually no longer true, no longer work for them, of no use to them in their life anymore. And you get them to read them out online, and then you rip the piece of paper up and you set fire to it. So it's like
That's a bit like my
a
spells.
magic ritual.
Yeah,
It,
like
well,
spells I
the
do,
thing is,
burning.
look at the word spelling. You know, there's so much stuff in the language that we use that takes you back to these esoteric times.
Yeah.
So that was another fascination too. So yeah, doing my own work was quite challenging. And what I had to do then was, as part of the course, you've got to practice on a student that's also taking the course, and you also have to choose a friend or a family member to fill in the questionnaire, and you practice on them. So there's 4 sessions that you need to film yourself on Zoom, talking to someone, coaching them. 2 with a student and 2 with a family member or a friend. I sent out the questionnaire to 3 friends. They all promised me they'd get it back to me. Yeah, well, love to help you with your course, Ingrid. Yeah, it looks amazing. Self-sabotage. Yeah, I like that. I'll do it. Have you finished your questionnaire yet? Not yet. Okay, I'll get back to you soon. And with every single person I sent the questionnaire to, I'm still waiting.
See, I would have done it.
They're procrastinating, which is another self-sabotage behaviour. They're putting it off, but some of them I found, when they realised how deep some of these questions were, they didn't want to open that can of worms.
This is reminiscent to me of counselling.
It is. It is almost like counselling.
Yeah, because you have to look after yourself. You're the counsellor. You have to have counselling yourself.
Yeah.
To be able to cope or to manage your feelings.
And one of the things that Jason does is he's created a Facebook group as a self-sabotage student support group. So when these questions come up for yourself, when you've looked at your questionnaire and thought, I don't know if I can do this, it's a bit deep, and I don't actually know whether I can coach someone else now because I haven't sorted myself out yet.
Yeah.
How can I give advice to someone else when I'm actually still sabotaging myself? You know, many of us are still addicted to our own behaviours that are not doing us any favours.
So sabotage of yourself, how is that going to manifest itself?
In loads of different ways. You could be sabotaging yourself by the food that you eat. So you might be saying, tomorrow I'm going on a diet, but today I'm pigging out. I'll start tomorrow. So sabotaging yourself is like not living the best life that you can have or the best person you could ever be. Because we've all got this infinite possibility of being amazing, spectacular people. We were born like that, but we've had it knocked out of us purposely.
By who?
To not achieve. By the powers that shouldn't be. By all the institutions we take part in. Family, school, government, authorities. everybody around us is there to keep us down.
I was going to say
Dumb,
dumbing down
thick,
thoughts and
stupid,
feelings. Yeah.
and controlled.
Yeah.
And it manifests itself with people having things like addictions, procrastinating, not achieving the best that they could, being poor. That's the biggest self-sabotage that we have, being poor. We're all trained to be poor. Nobody aspires to be rich. Very few people ever become rich. And this is why the people that have got the money
Keep
At
money.
school, it's
have
you
power,
know, get a
have
job.
got the power over us. Nobody ever teaches you at school, for example, how to manage money,
No.
how to make money,
Or
how to be an entrepreneur,
Yeah, exactly.
and how to have useful skills for life that help you become independent and have your own business. That's not taught in school deliberately.
So, what would be something that you could do to motivate somebody to? They've expressed how they've their dark secrets or their dark thoughts or their baggage, however you want to put that.
Yeah.
How do you get them to stop? Basically,
Good question. And sometimes they don't stop. But actually just digging deep and acknowledging that they've got these issues is the first part of the healing process. And then, like I explained, you have a banishment ceremony with them. And what it all boils down to is that a long, long time ago, tribes, groups of people that lived in communities, used to have a special ceremony for children when they came of age. And it's called a rite of passage. So in society now, we don't go through that rite of passage. So we keep our childlike behaviour all our lives because the government's going to tell you what to do. The school's going to tell you what to do. Your friends will tell you what to do. Social media will tell you what to do. You don't need to make any decisions for yourself because someone else will do it for you. Don't be independent. Don't think, oh no, stay a child. We'll look after you. And that's how we've developed. Think back to, like, the Spartans are a good example, a bit extreme. So the Spartans have a child, and it's coming up to the age of maybe 11, 12 or 13, and it's now decided that this person needs to stop hanging on its mother's apron strings, and it needs to grow up and be a man. So they put it outside their territory, their boundary, their castle walls, whatever you want to describe them as. And it's like, off you go, survive for yourself. Well, my mum not coming. No, your mum's staying here. You need to go and sort yourself out, and when you come back, you'll be a man. And that child had to be resourceful, be independent, use skills that its father would have been teaching it, so that it can survive and make sense of the world and come back, grown up, thinking like an adult. And they were welcomed back into the tribe, and they would have a great celebration for them. I mean, some groups of people still do this. If you think about the bar mitzvahs, with the Jewish community, they celebrate people becoming adults. But in general, it's not done anymore.
No.
So we're encouraged to keep our childlike behaviour throughout our adult life. And children think differently from adults in that they think short-term, immediate gratification. I want it now or else I'll have a tantrum. I want it now or else I'm a shit person. But if you're an adult, you think about the consequences of what you do and you plan for that. So you think long-term. Right, if I eat all this now, I might feel great. But actually tomorrow I'll puke up. Children don't think that. They just go, I'm having it now. All of it.
no consequences.
No consequences.
I mean, you think, sorry, with
that's
children,
how it's been happening.
yeah, and you're talking about institution, school.
Yeah,
When you finish school, you're pushed into going to more schooling,
I know.
college,
I know.
and then university. When does it end?
I know.
And at the end of it, do any of them actually get a good job? Not many.
That
Not really.
reminds me
Yeah.
of something else that happened when
Just
I was
debt.
at school. I was a teacher at a school in Manchester, and it became my role to be a head of year. So my year group were coming up to that age where they're thinking about going to college and stuff like that, and I was responsible for 240 of these children. And in my assembly, I'd invited lots of people from different institutions to talk about apprenticeships and other things apart from college. And these people came in and they gave good talks about carpentry, about hairdressing, about all kinds of skills that children would like, because not everybody's academic. They don't all want to go to uni. So a range of people came in and gave this talk, and afterwards I had to go and see the senior management. My head was on the block.
What had you done?
I hadn't asked permission to bring these people into school to talk to them, because, as you know, our school doesn't really push people in that direction. We want to see as many people at university as possible.
There you go.
And I got a grilling from senior management.
So
And they
keeping the system
they gave
right.
me a dressing. I got a real dressing down, and I came out. Well, they thought I came out with my tail between my legs, but I left the year after. I thought, and I left. But then I realised, I mean, that was probably one of the awakening calls that I had. I thought, we're being programmed.
Yeah.
And that's what's been happening to us. This is why this course was so
Yeah.
exciting to
Yeah.
find out about this.
So what was the excitement that drew you in or kept you going on it?
Well, I'm a stickler for doing things. I'm one of these, if I decide to do something, I finish it. And one of Jason's sayings is, don't always do things the easy way. Go for the hard way and prove that you are an enduring person that's got commitment and strength. And then I came across a lovely saying the other day. One of the students that graduated when I did, he's made his own website now, and it's called something like, are you the best of your bloodline so far? And
Okay.
I just thought, yes, I bloody am. But it's like, in your ancestry, in your lineage going back, has anybody else done what you've done? Has anybody achieved what you've done? And I just think, I come from a mediocre kind of, all right, this, that, and the other, they've done this, that, and the other. I just thought, I'm not going along with that.
But I'm sorry to probe into your life, but are you the best in your bloodline? I'm just going to pick you up on this. Somebody might have been. They might have been. All right, then I'll talk in general.
Look at me. I'm.
Yeah, I know what you
nothing
mean.
like
because
my
they had to do something
family.
to make sure that somebody got fed.
Exactly. And this
So
is
they
what
were
I'm
the best they could be.
Exactly. That's what I'm alluding to. I'm talking more about ancestors. Have I got what it takes to make them proud as well? Rather than just mediocre, rather than just going along to get along. Just being part of this consumerist society where you're expected to just do what everybody else does, go with the flow, be with the biggest herd, because that's the safe one. Don't be in your own little tribe, because you're not safe. You're on your own. And that's how I feel all
We
the
don't
time.
like you. You're not our friend.
Exactly.
It
You're
feels
not part of the
very
gang.
playgroundy,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
But in the past, there will have been ancestors that probably stood up for their rights and didn't follow the herd and did their own thing to make sure that, obviously, I'm here now. But I'm not seeing it within the immediate family. Everybody's
Right.
just kind of,
Yeah.
oh, I've got this and I've got that. Oh, how much do you earn? Oh, I've heard you're a teacher now. What do you earn? A teacher salary.
So
that kind of thing.
what was your feeling coming through the? Can I call it training or awakening?
Yeah.
Which should I call it?
It is training,
Yeah. What was it like for you?
It was hard going because it was a huge commitment, because there was a coaching session every Sunday, and because of the time difference, it was 10 o'clock at night here, so it's going on into midnight, and I'm like this because I'm in bed early. But that's just how it is, because it's an international group of people, so they've got to start it at some time. But also there was a lot of homework to do. There's a lot of studying to do. There's a lot of videos that you had to watch and make notes on, because you'd be tested on them the week after. But you had to do it for your own knowledge as well, because you can't become a coach without, studying some of this. There's a lot of psychology involved in it. you've got to find out why we're being sabotaged. Where is this decision coming from? Who are the people that are doing this to us? And why do they want to do it to us? Why do they want to keep us stupid, dependent on the state, dependent on everybody else, and not being the best that we can? So I had to find out about it, and that meant more research. So I'm constantly studying.
So are you going to do coaching now?
Yeah, when I get good internet. That's the downfall here. Yeah, it's the internet that's not brilliant here. That would stop me from doing it, but I might have to actually go up to the golf club where they've got stable internet and do some there, but then you've got the privacy issue. You could hire a little room maybe, but here the internet is so unstable that...
Or you have a power cut.
Luckily I've got a generator, but there's a delay.
But I was going to say, like, being working towards being a coach, you're following a set of directions to help that person empower themselves. So would you say that it's a customised?
Yeah, it is. There's a formula for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And would you say, or could you say, that some people might not be able to be helped? Or is this a foolproof system?
Good question. There will be people that would approach wanting to be helped, but then when they realise, when they realise how much work it entails for themselves as well, they sometimes back off. But you've done what you can. You can't force someone to change, because if someone who has a drink issue, asks for help, and you realise from the questionnaire how many units of alcohol they're taking a week, and you just say, you're going to feel an awful lot better and richer if you can stop this. And also it's affecting your personality, it's affecting your behaviour and your success rate and blah, blah, blah. They can kind of make inroads into healing. But what often happens with people that are so entrenched in sabotaging themselves, it's like somebody has a bungee rope on them, and they can say, right, I'm not doing this thing anymore, I'm not doing the drinking anymore, I'm going to quit. So they'll kind of pull away from their previous habits, but they've still got this bungee attached to them. So they'll go, I've done a week without it. And you go, well done, that's brilliant, keep me posted. Can you give me some tips? And I'll, you can give them some positive affirmation. Because as well as the banishment ceremonies where you get rid of all their old behaviours and you rip it up and burn it, you also give them some positive affirmations based on the questionnaire.
I was going to ask that.
Good points.
What's the next bit?
Yeah. You have to give them good things to dwell on, and you can print them off and make them all arty, and they stick them on the computer or their fridge or wherever.
So it's a visual affirmation, so to speak. Yeah.
So they've got to keep repeating these, because we know that the way we get brainwashed is by repetition. So you can reverse it and give them good repetition to keep going over, like mantras, like like me when I'm walking down to the beach with the dogs, going, I am happy, I am healthy,
yes,
I am wealthy and wise. People go, what's she talking about? But
I'm the only one who didn't laugh then.
I
actually believe in it.
I mean, anybody else that would come around here, they just think she's bonkers, that woman. She lives on her own in the middle of the forest.
We did a podcast on wealth,
and
wealth
and
mantras, just to get us going, wasn't it?
So I was saying this person could get so far away from this addiction, maybe 2 weeks down the line, 3 weeks down the line, and then somebody say, it's a works leaving do, are you coming? Just come, and you don't need to have a drink, you can just have a soft drink. But that little devil's still inside and going, go on, have a drink. And the bungee pulls them back, and then one drink leads to another and another and another, and then in the end they just blow it. But then you get in touch with them and you say, so how do you feel now after having that? And they just go, even sicker than I would have done if I'd been doing it all the time. And that's usually enough to make them think
something.
Yeah.
Some
Some connection's gone on in the brain then, and thought, actually I felt much better without it. And sometimes they need to have a little bit of leeway. They get dragged back and then they take it on again, and then but gradually the length of time without that behaviour gets longer and longer, and then eventually they cut the bungee.
So I was going to say, like, you know, for instance, alcoholism, would you direct them, or maybe they've been to another professional, a psychiatrist, alcoholics group, and it hasn't worked, or would you get to the point where
Are you the place to go?
You need professional help, as in,
Yeah, sometimes you could
someone
recommend
else.
that as well. But also within the coaching session itself, we offer them a regression. So you take them back to a time where they might have had some kind of behaviour that's traumatic that started them off drinking in the first place. So you regress them back to that point in time, and it's painful sometimes when they remember, why did I start drinking? And then you give them hypnotherapy sessions after that, you know, to back up the regression as a positive affirmation that they keep playing at night before they go to bed. You give them a recording. They can do it first thing in the morning and last thing at night, or any time they're walking about, jogging or whatever.
So really, you're replacing all those other professionals and just being this
One-stop shop.
Really,
I've never thought like that, but
you
yeah,
know, hypnotherapy, Alcoholics Anonymous, if you want to say that, whatever, you know, professionals have been to. Yours is like all rolled into
all
one because it
condensed.
seems to solve everything.
Yeah, I never thought about it like that, but you're right. Yeah, it does. You see, self-sabotage is just something you do to yourself that's harmful, that stops you being the best that you can be. And it can take many, many forms, and I mentioned alcohol as just one example. But it's this lack of self-esteem that some people have.
Don't you think it's hard for the programming to be reprogrammed, if you want to say it like that, or rethink your worth in this life, in this universe?
Yeah, of course it is.
And not to put a dampener on it, but is it always successful? Is it something that's like pretty good at supporting you get through these problems, this self-sabotage?
I think once someone realises that they need help and they actually go on the website for self-sabotage and find themselves a registered coach, which I'll be one of those people when I put my profile together, when they've got to that stage, they've already acknowledged that they've got a problem. And I would say, according to Jason's figures, you know, 9 people out of 10 do stick with it and do heal themselves.
That's a good percentage, isn't it?
Yeah. But I mean, there are so many people out there that are still sabotaging themselves now and not even aware of it, because we don't even realise that we're being programmed.
No.
You know, like even if I don't know, if I drop this cup on the floor now, I'd go, "You stupid cow." Why am I sabotaging myself, calling myself that?
It's conditioning, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Why would you say you stupid cow or whatever?
A lot of things you've been
It's about
saying.
self-esteem.
Yeah, a lot of things you've been saying is like sort of promoting strong vibrations.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
what it is.
yeah, and you've got to. I think if you're struggling, or you're not used to the banter, the talking, somebody listening, that can be a big thing. You hang on, you heard me. You actually heard what I said.
I know.
So I used to be a counsellor, and it's to me, when I hear what you're saying, I would love to be in a place or a fly on the wall, so to speak, to see somebody's receptive energy.
Yeah.
To see that change. Have you had that experience of seeing somebody gather those vibrations? Have you seen somebody begin to receive energy and accept
definitely.
it?
Yeah. As part of the coaching course, we had access to Jason's previous clients and previous students that he coached himself when he was able to direct everything himself. But it's grown so big now that he doesn't have time to record each interview with a student. So this is why I had to go online. And I've seen those recordings of the first session and the second session First session, people are nervous, people are, they'll admitting that they've got this problem, that problem. By the second session, they're saying, yeah, I've nipped it in the bud, I've stopped drinking coffee, I've done this. And you can see the whole demeanour has changed. They're feeling positive, they've got that glow about them, they're feeling optimistic about the future, and they know they can do it because they've got that encouragement and they've got that support. And I've seen it as well with myself, because we had to do our first session that got submitted as evidence of this, and it got assessed and I got feedback on it. And you were given a student to work with from the group of, the cohort that I was with. And my student was based in Canada. So straight away we've got this time zone
So it's
difference.
worldwide then.
Yeah. And, so we introduced ourselves, and I had to use her as a practice client, and she had to do the same with me. So she sent me a questionnaire all completed, and I just went, oh my God, this is the biggest self-sabotaging person I've ever seen. Shit, what am I going to do with this? I was a bit overwhelmed when I saw how much stuff she'd taken, what she's still doing, the relationships that she'd had, and the manipulation she'd had from parents, and the letting down in her life, and the setting up of different members of the family, and abuse, and it was just horrendous. And I thought, I can't coach this woman. I don't feel qualified enough to be able to do this. But I just followed the protocol that Jason gives us, which is, there's 4 bits in the first session. So the first one is introduce yourself, go through the questionnaire, identify the type of saboteur that you are, because there's 5. So there's the economic saboteur, there's the childlike behaviour, which most of us fall into, there's the fire starter. Yeah, I've got one of them as a friend. And then there's the victim. And I've forgotten the last one, I'll come back to it in a minute. So you have to identify which type of saboteur they are, and they usually say, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I do identify with that. And then you give them a regression, and then you give them a pep talk, which is like some positive affirmations after you've done that banishment ceremony. And then a week later, you do the second session, which is like a follow-up. How did you get on with the things I've asked you to do? How do you feel about this, that, and the other now? And then you go through a deeper dive into the questionnaire and go like more into psychology of it. Also in the first session, you show them a video about this American guy who, he's an entertainer. What's he called? Darren Brown. You heard of him?
Darren, yeah.
So he's an illusionist. So it's this kind of work, and it's showing how the subconscious mind is hacked. And when people are shown this for the first time, they just go, how did the audience all do this at the same time? Or how did I fall for it too? I'm not going, I can't be tricked. But it opens up, how it works on everyone, even without you realising it. So you explain about how the conscious and the subconscious mind works, and how your conscious mind and your subconscious mind are both there to protect you, to love you, to make you feel safe. But your conscious mind is visual, it's auditory. Your subconscious mind is like in the background, listening in. But your conscious mind can be hacked by alcohol, caffeine, porn, which loads of people are addicted to apparently.
People though.
People,
Yeah, of certain.
Certain low
The bad
vibrational
boy or the bad
energy.
girl, and
So loads of things can hack into that conscious mind and shut it down. So the subconscious mind switches on instead and says, don't worry, I'll come to the rescue and I'll look after you. But the subconscious mind only listens out for repetition. I'll keep you safe. I'll listen out for the things that keep happening, and I'll put them to the top of the list, and you'll become that person that you keep hearing reminders of. So, for example, face, space, hands. They're always in 3s. Face, space, hands. So the subconscious mind is making a list of all the things it hears during the day, all the things it sees, the clues, the symbology, everywhere, all over the world. Adverts, subliminal flashes that you don't think you've seen, but you have, because your subconscious mind saw it. And it's gathering this list. It's like a massive database. And at night when you're asleep, subconscious mind is going, oh, what keeps coming up? Oh, that's been said about 80 times today. Put that at the top of the list. And I saw that symbol, again, that advert, that's going to the top of the list. So all these things get filtered to the top. And after being subjected to it time in, time out, you become what you see, what you feel, and what you hear. Because your conscious mind's gone. You can't think for yourself anymore. The subconscious mind is taken over.
So this is more than motivational speaking. Do you know? You know what I mean? It's more than that.
You're a personal kind of tutor as well as a coach.
And it's more than wellness. It sounds like.
Yeah.
You know.
Although health is one of the things we address first. Out of the group of 4 things, health is the first thing, because without the health you can't be strong enough to tackle the other things.
So your body's sort of, your mind or your body or the way you live isn't congruent with maybe who you want to be. And it's easier, from what I'm hearing, it seems to me, it's easier to toe the line because that's how you get on.
Yeah.
It's safe.
Yeah, it's safe. It's
safer.
all about being in the big tribe where it's safe, the big herd. I mean, look at herd animals and look how predators take one out that dares to be on its own. That's what happens in our world.
And what are you projecting to people then when they've had them 2 sessions?
Yeah.
Are you saying then go forth, you're going to be great?
Yeah.
And you'll be able to cope with life and be who you are. Are you saying from those 2 sessions that can happen?
Yeah, it can happen, because in the positive affirmations you also work on a way for them to become an independent person in terms of their economics as well, because a lot of them are having a hard time working at a school or working for the government, because they've made that connection now that I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. So they're already thinking, what can I do? So you help them through their questionnaire to look at their hobbies, look at their strengths, look at their skills, and come up with a way for them to maybe work online, doing something. So they could even become a coach for something else.
I was going to ask you, maybe you might encourage somebody to become part of your tribe, your gang, so to speak.
That has happened in a lot of instances.
There's one thing I was just thinking all the way through. It sounds a bit, this is going to happen to you when a coach supports you in another way of thinking. Is it possible that somebody may not go forward at that time and change the way they think, the way they feel? But from what you're saying, so that may not happen, but from what you're saying, I think you do a spark.
Yeah, exactly.
So if somebody comes away from the sessions and then they may not be ready, is that possible to take in? That may not be ready at that time, but you've given them the tools.
You've planted the seed.
Yeah,
exactly.
For another time.
Yeah, I think that's
possible. Is that a possibility?
And it also happens within the actual student community too, because some people don't finish the course. When I finished, it was the end of May. I got my certificate June or July. And meanwhile, Jason had started with a new cohort. But he keeps the support group going, so you can mix and talk and share things with the new group.
So support networks, so to speak, yeah.
But I've noticed some of the people from my cohort still haven't had their certificates yet. And they've actually said online in one of our last sessions, I don't think I'm ready for this yet. I don't think I can actually face coaching someone because I've got so many addictions still myself that I haven't dealt with. And I need to keep the course going. I need the support from fellow students. so that I can sort myself out.
I think that's
and
very
then-
healthy.
Yeah.
And then I can push myself then to direct someone else. But what they have done, which has been really kind of them, is said, we'll offer ourselves up as a practice client if anybody wants to use us, because we don't feel ready to coach someone else yet.
So this seems like wheels within wheels. If
Yeah.
this isn't something that you can carry on with, and to me that's not, I'm going to use the word failure. It's not a failure. It's you're not ready at that, but you've acknowledged that because you've been given the skills
It's
know.
working
to
at your
acknowledge
own-
that.
Working at your own
It
pace.
sounds very
Yeah,
good.
it is.
Yeah.
It is.
So where is how if somebody's like listening to this
Yeah.
and wants to be part of this community or wants to be a coach or would like to speak to somebody, how would they go about accessing the freedom from self-sabotage?
It's literally that on the website. Yeah. www.freedomfromselfsabotage.com.
Is there a Facebook? I know you said there is one for
That's a student support
just
group.
so
Yeah.
basically head for the is it said the FFSS? It's really
we abbreviate to that
FFSS.
because freedom from sabotage is a
Yeah.
bit of a mouthful as well. So yeah, we tend to abbreviate it to that.
Yeah, so look online, Google, is it sort of like freedomfromselfsabotage.com or
Yeah.
that's
That's it.
that's exactly it.
Will you be getting your own website then?
Yeah,
as a
that's what I'm
coach?
working on next.
Yeah.
Because we all acknowledge that we've got, good skills and things that we don't quite have yet, and technology is not one of my best skills. So my son's going to come stay here for a few months, and he's going to help me get my own website up and running,
Great.
and then I'll be open for business.
That's great, and we will put your website.
Yeah, in the
Yeah.
description.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant, thank you.
Yeah, we'll put the one for the I am going to keep saying it, freedom from self-sabotage. And then when you've got yours, we will also
Yeah,
add
we'll
it
add
to
to
that.
it,
Is there anything else? Is there anything you want to ask us, or is there anything you want to sort of promote about what you do, or your end thoughts, so to speak? Because it's been great listening to you.
I think doing this course has helped me understand more about myself, that I was kind of trying to keep hidden away from myself before. And now that I've kind of had to face my demons, or as Jason calls it, you've had to face the dark night of the soul. It changes you for the better, and you can't go back.
That's
Once
good.
I
that's
think that's the
up-
point I was
yeah,
trying to
up
make.
and, up and out, then you can only go forward. And there's no point chasing after the past. It's gone. It doesn't exist anymore. You've got to move forward. And I'm just glad I found this, because it's opened up a whole new avenue of being independent but helping someone at the same time. It's like being of service at the same time you're healing yourself, and it's just a great thing to have found.
To me, what more
And
could
it
you ask
just
for?
aligns with all the things I believe in as well. Because when you want to make a living, if you're a vegan and you're into ethical things, and you don't like compromising your beliefs, it's really hard to find a job to do something where you want to do all that. But to me, this is an ethical way of earning a living.
This is your
as well.
pathway.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Well, I know you
Pathway.
were a great teacher, and I'm sure you'll be a great coach.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Ingrid, for joining us on Cosmic Conversation
It's been great.
today. And you've got a lovely house. Got to say
lovely
that.
dogs.
Yeah, lovely dogs. Yeah, it's been absolutely fabulous. You've enlightened me.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
and I hope that the questions I asked. It's inquisitive. I'm too inquisitive, and
No, that's how you learn, isn't it?
yeah.
The problem with society at the moment is they don't ask enough questions.
Well, there's something I'm going to take from this. What more than one thing, but I gotta say, when people are told, don't ask it, makes you look stupid.
Oh, no.
Right? My dad always told me, if you don't ask, you don't learn, and you'll never know.
Exactly.
So
Don't ask, you don't get, do you?
I don't know what I ask and I never get. But that's another story, Ingrid. No, thank you everyone, and thanks for listening. Join us next time on Cosmic Conversation. And, well, you can't top that one, can you?
No.
No. Thanks very much, Ingrid. Bye, everyone.
See
Thank
you.
Bye-bye.